about dating and relationships and sex and sexuality the way that everyone around me had been talking in college. I felt really isolated, and I craved a way to talk about what I was experiencing with people who cared. And separately, in my professional life as a health educator, I found that the Unitarian Universalists do have a curriculum for sex education for young adults. I was really excited to see that there were people making space for young adults to have these conversations in a way that was grounded in their faith community. I wanted that for my community. Only a month later, I was at the Moishe Kavod House retreat, community retreat that happens every summer, and I mentioned this program to one of the housemates at the time, Margie Klein. She shared with me that people in our Rosh Chodesh group were also interested in having these conversations, specifically to have some difficult conversations about sexual violence and relationship violence in the Jewish community. So Margie offered to support me in bringing such a program to the Moishe Kavod House. And within months, Margie was helping me integrate Jewish sources and rabbinic texts into the curriculum, while my friend Julia Ronowitz, who was our development chair at the time, was securing a grant, her first grant, from the Bronfman Foundation. And together, we made this program a reality. We founded the sex ed team and developed a curriculum that draws upon Jewish texts and facilitates discussion about how we experience sexuality and sex and relationships as Jews and in Jewish spaces. For example, we get to do text study together and looking at texts from the Talmud that are actually really rich and surprising in the ways they talk about sex directly. And we draw upon and learn from our tradition as we grapple with these key questions. And we also get to critique and talk back to our tradition as Jews together. Soon into doing these workshops, I realized that it was the first time for me that I experienced Judaism as the home for the work I wanted to do in the world. Sex education had been a passion of mine ever since high school. And at the time, I was also in a high school Jewish youth group, but I didn't have any space there to talk about gender and sex at all. And then I got to college, where I felt like the Jewish communities I was being offered were so defined and immersed by patriarchy that there was no space for me to be there and be true to myself. So at Moishe Kavod, having these conversations about gender and sex and sexuality was essential to my finding a Jewish home and finding, again, my own Jewish identity. It was also one of the key things that enabled me to believe that I could even try to have a Jewish wedding, grounded in my feminist values and in the Jewish tradition. Talking with others at Moishe Kavod House and having friends from the Moishe Kavod community grappling with similar questions gave me the hope that we could address the issues we saw in weddings and the tradition of weddings, and to create weddings and marriages that we wanted for ourselves. And I surprised myself by actually feeling really excited to work with my partner with creativity and integrity to create a Jewish feminist wedding. And on our wedding day, there was a jar under our chuppah that was packed with a glass that we were to break, that was given to us by the Moishe Kavod community at our Torah-free Ufruf ceremony, created by several community members to meet this need and this desire. And then Matt and I stepped on the glass together. I broke it.
Just saying.
Thank you for listening. That's my story. Thank you for coming tonight.